Hi, Taurus Rising Sign. Here is your weekly forecast, and we are starting on the 9th of February until the 15th of February. So, very first up is Mercury, who is making a conjunction to Pallas Athene and then a conjunction to North Node. And it is happening in your 11th house, which is the house of vision, friendships, and groups. So you might start seeing the missing link, for example, in a project that you have been working on, or you are going to be making some professional connections with others, or there could be just a casual conversation with a stranger, and it feels like it was a destined encounter. Or you can have a brilliant idea for a project or how to use a digital platform for your advantage, or an idea on how to reach a specific audience, or maybe a friend who offers a piece of advice and that could be resonating with you deeply, or it kind of tickles your intuition as well. Or maybe you realize when it comes to your long-term goals, it has to be a little bit, or they have to be a little bit more fluid, less rigid, so that you can succeed. And of course, Mercury rules the finances. So the ultimate goal would be here that I would like to earn more money. Now, next up is Sun and Chiron. So that's going to be connecting your 10th and 12th house. And it could be a career breakthrough, actually, especially if you finally address a fear of yours of not being enough or good enough or talented enough. Or you can have these intuitive insights, and that could be a key to your, let's say, public presentation. Or you are going to be recognized by your superiors, and this is going to be elevating your self-image or what you think of yourself. Or maybe even you are able to handle some psychological issues at workplace. Or I can imagine that you get praise for something that you did in solitude, kind of like in the backstage. Or I can even imagine that you are not scared anymore that something is gonna get found out about you. So you might be stepping into a stronger public role. Next up is Mars and Vesta conjunction on the day when Saturn is moving into the sign of Aries. So that's going to be triggering again your 10th and 12th house. And I can imagine that you are about to be committing to this major career goal. But simultaneously, you're retreating into this 2.5 year period of spiritual work, spiritual cleansing, doing the work behind the scene. It's kind of like you figuring out what your profession is, and you want to be doing something that is not just a job, but it feels like it's a calling of yours as well. So there might be a bit of a retreat to kind of contemplate about what's next. Or maybe you have been working tirelessly on a project and it's ready to pay off. Or you are ready to close a karmic chapter in your life. I can imagine that you are actually ready also to prioritize a mission over fame or over kind of like I don't want to be in the spotlight, but I want to win something. Or you might be even applying this great strength or focus to some healing, psychological, and therapeutic blockages so that finally you are ready to be visible. Or maybe you are ready to walk away from a career and you are ready to go solo, or just ready to be in a more meaningful path. Or you are ready to build this professional foundation that is at the moment invisible to the public, but it is somehow making you excited. And eventually, yeah, you are going to be launching something within the next 2.5 years. Now, next up, is Jupiter and Juno opposition, which is triggering your third and ninth house. And I can imagine that you have got this brilliant idea for a project, but maybe the legal part of it, might demand you to focus on that, or you would like to partner up, for example. But this might be held back a little bit due to certain type of documents. Or I can imagine that maybe you are offered a position to teach or publish, but you might be very busy when it comes to your kind of daily routine, be like daily work type of stuff. So it could be something overwhelming. Or I can imagine that the siblings, the neighbors, the relatives' needs are kind of like conflict with the expectations of, let's say, a spouse or a business partner. So imagine that you are trying to give emotional support to a friend, a sibling of yours, and this is kind of not respected by the partner as much. Or maybe you have got this desire to learn a new skill. But the question is, do I have got these rigid philosophical or religious belief system? Or maybe you are ready to find a way to make your big ideas fit into this into your mindset, into your framework. Next up is Arachne entering the sign of Capricorn as well, and that's your ninth house. And I can imagine you are going to be doing quite a lot of research in the next 1 year. It's kind of like writing your dissertation, and which means when you're writing a dissertation, that requires synthesizing vast amount of data and knowledge. Or I can imagine that you are looking for some technical threads in a contract or legal document, which might be giving you a significant advantage, for example. Or I can imagine that you might be planning an international trip or even relocation, and you're trying to come up with the logistical details month ahead, month in advance. Or maybe you are ready to move away from a certain type of complex way of thinking. And you going back to something that you used to do in the past, or more like a traditional study, for example. And maybe you are just meticulously editing a piece of work and you are just focusing on the main structure of the work that, let's say, you want to publish, write, or you have been working on. Next up is Amor entering the sign of Pisces, which is actually your 11th house. And it really feels like that you are connecting with a group or a community where you feel truly seen for who you are, rather than, oh, I've got big boobs and stuff like that, and that's what people notice in me. This could be a platonic love as well, or a friendship that could evolve into this deeply supportive, unconditional bond. And it's not necessarily just from a, kind of like falling in love type of point of view, but we just resonate. We are vibing. We are on the same page. You even can feel this renewed sense of hope and love for humanity as a whole. Or you might be attracting collaborators who are focused on healing, spiritual progress. Or I can imagine that you are going to end up as a peacemaker, for example, also among your friends. And next stop is asteroid Lilith. And this is our final stop, entering the sign of Aries. So that's going to be the 12th house for you. And I think it's about internal breakthroughs, where you reject that subconscious rule that you have followed. And potentially it's about you stopping to suppress your anger. And maybe you want to use that anger within you as a fuel to make something work, something creative. Or maybe you refuse to be the victim of your past or your karmic baggages and you are ready to kind of rebel against fate. Or maybe you are ready to build this private life or a plan that no one else knows about it so that kind of like they cannot control you. Or maybe you are ready to reject traditional religious or spiritual dogma and you are ready to create your own internal truth. So let's do a bit of a summary for you, Taurus. It really feels like that there is a huge breakthrough in your networking ability, and that could be leading to this private but spiritual commitment. I think you are about to start building something substantial behind the scenes. I feel like that if your profession is thriving, that's going to be creating a bit of a better private peace within you as well. But you might want to master the technical details of the work, kind of like pulling back a little bit so that you can do the mastery internally as well as in the physical world, such as in your work. So good luck, Taurus, and I will see you next week. Take care. Bye bye.